everybody. Welcome to the Backstory Podcast. Thank you for being with us here today, spending some time together. You know, the groups talk so much about these times that we're in, the challenging times of change that we're in, the clear uncertainty that we have to walk through every second. The reality is we can do it if we hold hands. That's all we need to do. So today, I'm very honored to bring you someone else that you can kind of look at to hold hands and learn a little bit from. This is Theresa Cheung. Theresa has done some incredible work. It's hard for me to even comprehend how much she's done. She's written over 100 books. I mean, all the things that I hate doing, she's done really well. So this will be a really good opportunity to meet Theresa and talk a little bit. She's also known very much as the Dream Lady. So she's really done a lot about dream interpretations, understanding, and even the scientific sides of that. And so anyway, without ado, please welcome Theresa Cheung. Welcome, Theresa.
Oh, hello, Steve. And honestly, it's my honor. You are a legend and an inspiration, and really you are. You are. I'm. It's a kind of a pinch me moment. It's a dream to be here. Thank you.
Good. Well, thank you so much for being with us and sharing your time and energy with us. We know what this is like to communicate these ways and have to set this up. So, you've done so much stuff. I mean, I looked at your website and the different directions that you're going. It's not just one area of dreams. I hope we can get as much of that in as we can possibly work with. So, anyway, tell us a little bit about how this got started, because that I've heard this story and it's a fascinating story, and I think people love to hear a little bit about your genesis. How'd you get going with this?
Well, I was born into a family of psychics and spiritualists, mediums, dream decoders, astrologists. That's how I grew up, that kind of community. I was home educated, and somehow I still think heaven called my name. I was offered a place to read theology and English at King's College, Cambridge University. I went there and thought everybody read astrology charts or believed in the life after death and the power of dreams to transform your life. But no, they didn't. It was a real, real brutal wake up call. But I think all for a reason. And what I learned there was to spar with skeptics, to stand my ground, to research, not just, I was very much in the Christian religion, but to
Right.
research all religions and see how beautiful they all are. And I guess when I emerged from the academic grilling of Cambridge, I became what many people are today, which is spiritual, but not necessarily religious. I
Mm.
admire all religions as long as they harm no one and bring you joy and fulfillment. But for me, I felt that all of them, it was almost like I can't choose. They've all got such beautiful, powerful. And then I guess I was lucky that I've always loved writing and I was able to get work writing for other people, actually. It's called ghostwriter. Then that doesn't mean I wrote
Right.
paranormal stories. I was a ghostwriter first. So I kind of learned how to write books by working with very famous people. Obviously, you sign NDAs when you are a ghostwriter, but it was very satisfying to see some of the books I wrote suddenly, like just literally million sellers. And that gave me confidence and also gave me a CV to pitch my own
Yeah.
ideas. The publishers weren't interested because I was a nobody. I wasn't famous, they all want that. But then eventually, HarperCollins, the publisher I was working for, took pity on me. They decided they wanted to do encyclopedias of the psychic world. These were the days when you could produce books with like 400,000 words long that were hardback, like almost like
Yes,
doorstop.
the hardbacks. Yes.
And oh my goodness, what a dream. I was given, the only thing was the time frame. They say, well, you've got 6 months to do this. And I'm saying it's 400,000 words. How do I, A to Z psychic world? But I didn't sleep. And I wrote the psychic world, did okay, but they loved it. And then they commissioned me for 20,000 Dreams, the Element Encyclopedia, then the Element Encyclopedia of Birthdays. And then they did so well because book clubs took them, Barnes and Noble took them. They became quite loved. I was offered an opportunity to collect angel stories because a lot of my features that I'd been doing at the time were about people who believed in angels. And my first angel story collection book was Angel Called My Name, which was a surprise overnight bestseller here in the UK. It got on number 4 on the Sunday Times. And the beauty
Wow.
of that there was no promotion for it. It just literally went out
It took
because the
out.
publishers in those times, they were much more embarrassed about publishing super normal spiritual than they are today. They're much more confident doing it. And
Yeah.
it was almost like, how did this happen? Because, but it happened because supermarkets stocked it and they put it right by, and people were buying it.
Right.
And that led for me to be signed for another 15 in a similar vein of angel story collections, because in the end of each book, I put my email, angeltalk710 at AOL.com, which I still use to this day because those books are still in print, some of them, not all of them, but they're still out there. And I always very much believe, what if someone found one of those books and had, you
That's
know,
right.
needed the comfort and reassurance, because a lot of the books are about bereavement, about grief, how angel encounters transform pain into purpose, and so on. What if someone reads this book, wants to share a story or ask me a question, and that email comes back, undone? So that email is still my reader and listener email and
Right.
will always be, whatever people say. But it does make me smile because sometimes I go on platforms and they just say, whenever we see an AOL email, we laugh. It's
Yeah. I know.
technology. And I say, you've got me right there. I don't understand technology. I'm very much, but hey, I'm stubbornly sticking to it now. But it's because it's in my books. It's not because I'm not
Right.
willing to go with the times. I do believe that evolution is important. It's simply because these books are out there with that email address in, and I don't want people to email it and get, no response. And I've just written book after book in this area, and I didn't actually get media notoriety. I was very much an invisible author and happy that way because I'm
Right.
quite sensitive person, and I'm happiest. I think in another life I would have been a Cambridge academic. I would have stayed in the libraries there writing books and
Mm-hmm.
forcing them on my reluctant students. But what happened was the pandemic, of course, and suddenly during the pandemic, the dreaming mind was doing what it loves to do. It was trying to bring healing and calm, and people were going online and typing in, "I had the weirdest dream." And so what was happening? It was trending number one globally, weird dreams, which led to a spectacular amount of renewed interest in what dreams were all about, more sleep and dream research,
Right.
and also media interest. Because what happened in the pandemic, I, the producer of ITV This Morning, had a copy of my dream dictionary and thought, this is interesting. Let's do a phone in where people can phone in their weird dreams and we'll get a dream expert.
Oh
This is
God, that
this
must have been nice.
fun
Yeah.
item, and yet terrifying. So I go on there and literally rabbit in the headlights. The phone line's open, and I have no idea what these people are going to say. And but luckily, it seemed to strike a chord, and here I am. 5 years later now, isn't it? Goodness, I've done 30 of them in my time, and also on BBC Radio as well. If a host has a
Right.
peculiar dream, it's a lovely item to do, actually. I dreamt this weird dream last night. I don't know what it means. Let's bring in Theresa. I'm the dream buster. So,
Oh, cool.
but the thing is, that's just a part of my work. Uh, Dreams have resonated because the mainstream, who are maybe skeptical of anything spiritual, are okay with dreams. I mean, if I went in there with angels, afterlife, and all the other things I subscribe to, wouldn't happen. But dreams, because however skeptical you are, you would have woken up one morning with a weird dream on your mind and wonder what on earth it means. So it's a
That's
way
right.
actually to open the door to spirituality. Because what people don't understand, when they're writing down their dreams, asking for help interpreting it, they're actually
Right.
making their first baby steps into spiritual awakening, because
Sure, they're
dreams
talking to themselves. You bet. Yeah.
dreams are
Yeah.
a check-in with your soul and the part of you that is independent of your body and your mind, the part of you that can see the bigger picture, the part of
Right.
you that's invisible and unseen, and if you believe, the part of you that can connect to the spirit world, the realms, the afterlife. But it's all covert the way I do it, especially if I do BBC, for example. On World Dream Day, which is September the 25th, I was called in for 14 BBC radio interviews, literally back to back. And and I just laugh inside because they don't realize that we're talking about soul here.
Yeah.
And it's
Exactly.
presented entertaining item, and I do crack jokes. I have a sense of humor, and I do like
That's
you know
amazing.
yeah,
That's amazing.
I like cracking jokes about it to make it entertaining because I want people actually after listening to me to think, well, maybe this weird lady, she's got a point. My last dream, what did it mean? Maybe I'll start
Right.
researching meaning. And then I feel like I'm progress. Because the more of us wake up with dreams and gratitude for them on their mind, and the more of us start
Yeah.
reflecting on the meaning of those dreams, I think the more fulfilled we will be as a human race.
I think you're exactly right about the fact that this is a way to talk about spirituality without using those words. That's
Yeah, yeah.
that's magical, and it opens people up to. You've done and 100 books. Really, you've written over 100 books, and that
Yeah,
includes
I
the
mean,
ones you've ghostwritten.
it's not all of them are in print. I wish they were. My
Right.
bank balance wish they were. I
Me
guess I'm a
too.
bit like Bridget Jones. You know, there's a one character in there who had a hit in the 80s and is still living off it. I guess in some ways, I my Dream Dictionary A to Z is my big hit. That's the one people know to me as because it is a big dictionary A to Z of all the most likely dream symbols based on dream research that
Nice.
you're going to dream about, all the most commonly reported dreams
Right.
listed in a tidy A to Z format. But I do give the common and universal archetypal meaning of those dreams. And I do want to stress that no dream dictionary can be definitive because the most important
Right.
interpretation ahead of that is your personal one. The best dream dictionary you will ever write is the one you write yourself every morning and the one you think
That's
about.
nice.
My publishers hate it when I say that, but I will because it's the truth. And as you get older, you just you have to be true to your values and your heart. That is the truth. Personal interpretation key. Then, if you're still stuck, my dictionary will help unlock the symbolic interpretation,
Right.
symbolic thinking, which we had in ancient times. Ancient humanity understood that there's the literal, but there's all layers underneath that of
Right.
deeper and deeper and deeper meaning. And people in
That's
spirituality
magical.
understand that nothing on surface level. Unfortunately, the world today has got very surface level. Everybody's getting their
Yes.
validation from money, success, relationships, looks, popularity, and all these things, they serve a purpose. This is Earth School. But if they're not balanced by an inner world and a dream world and an understanding and your relationship with your own soul, you're doomed for unhappiness. You are an empty gong and a clashing cymbal.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, so you've done quite a lot of this. All of this is in what I would consider in the spiritual area. You've done some work also with science to be able to blend some of the science into that too. That's pretty exciting. Tell us a little bit about that. What did you do
About
there?
10 years ago, I was feeling a
Yeah.
bit Groundhog Day. I love my work, but I was kind of rewriting the same book over and over again. And yet I was going on big skeptical podcasts actually and being hounded. And often I would say, well, there's no proof that you're right. There's no definitive proof that I am. One of us is right and one of us is wrong. Let's agree to differ. And it is a matter of belief because your perception
Right.
creates your reality. I was pushing that message, but I wanted to give my readers more. And I was not fully aware of the science out there. So what I did is I dedicated a good year to researching where science is at, the science of consciousness. And I actually
Interesting.
reached out to all these visionary scientists who are studying the possibility of life after death, who are studying precognition, who are studying mediums and the personality traits of psychics, who are studying the science of channeling. And I reached out to them all and asked if I could interview them. And they were all really open-minded, actually. In particular, the Institute of Noetic Sciences, which I still do blogs for and do
Right.
presentations with and work with, the Windbridge Institute, Dr. Judy Beishaw, people like that, Dean Radin. And I particularly struck up a friendship with Dr. Julia Mossbridge, who is known as the Time Lady. She has pioneered research into presentiment, which is the ability of the
Yes.
body sense the future ahead of time in her experiments in
That is
journals.
fascinating. I've studied some of that. That is fascinating. Your
Yeah.
body knows what's going to happen before it happens. Yes.
So I collaborated with her. I
Ah,
remember actually, I just put forward a proposal to my publisher with herself and me. I would do the spiritual, she would do the science, and
yeah.
we got opportunity to write it. It's called The Premonition Code, came out in 2017 and did give me, I had I was on a, that was actually I had a kind of a glimpse of the ITV This Morning stuff because I went on Russell Brand's Under the Skin podcast to talk about it. That's a bit of a car crash interview if you want to watch it.
Yeah.
I went on there and some other major things, and the book did okay. It was a bit of a sleeper hit, a bit of a sort of niche following, but only recently this year, because of the success of the telepathy tapes, which my co-author, Dr. Julia Mossbridge, is the scientist they consult for that. She's part of its success, and she was recently on the Big Bang Theory podcast lady, Dr. Mayim Bialik, talking about the Prem code. It has had a rebirth. And I love this. And Julia
Oh, how
actually
cool.
quite precognitive herself. She would always say to me, this is going to be a sleeper. It's going to be, it was ahead of its time. It actually was
Right.
ahead of its time. It was true to its title, The Premonition Code. It was sensing this future we're in now. And I actually think it's a glorious time if you are in spiritual work and growth and development, because there's more openness now to it
Yes,
than
there
ever.
is.
Even in the scientific community, it's no longer
Yes.
ridiculed or laughed at. And I never thought I'd see that, Steve. I never thought I would. When I started doing this, it was embarrassing for publishers, for media. I
Yes.
remember
Uh,
first time I did an afterlife call in, actually, I was told by the producer, we don't want Ofcom complaints. You do a balance. You do about, we do not want off. I remember that. And I realized then I have to tread very carefully here.
right.
Um, and it's wonderful. I can go on certain podcasts, hopefully your own, where I can come
Sure.
out actually, as
We see you. Yes.
consciousness
Well, that's what the
exists.
group keeps telling me. The group keeps telling me, they says you might as well just tell them what you're going through because you're working in front of a room full of psychics, and that's the
Yes,
truth. Yeah, so we might as well just be open about who we are. Yeah. Okay.
consciousness
So,
is independent of the body and the mind.
yes.
Consciousness,
Yes.
that's what I firmly believe, always have believed, and will forever believe.
You've got a lot of different aspects of this that is a wide ranging. This isn't just dreams. You have done a lot of work with communication, with writing, with all these different areas, and I have no doubt that when you actually helped pen another book, that a lot of you and your spirituality came through that. I do believe that you've been planting seeds for a very long time, unbeknownst most of the time. Now you're getting ready to do something else. Tell
I
us
am.
about that. That's got to be scary. Tell us what you're doing. What is going on with this? Tell us what you're doing.
I don't know whether it's age, but I've learned now when something's scary, that's where I've got to go because that's where the
Right.
growth is. I mean, too much of us do sort of tread water and stay in our comfort zone, but
Right.
everything that's worth having is right outside, as I'm sure you know, outside your comfort zone. And it's falling in love with that journey, the questioning, the challenges. That's, I think, the big difficulty of a lot of spiritual journey. People think it's going to immediately be nirvana, bliss. It's not.
Right.
I
Guess
think the
what?
spiritual life is always curious, always pushing yourself. And I've tried to do that because it would be very easy for me. I am in the very privileged position to have publishers still willing to publish me, and I never take
Yeah.
that for granted. I never do. I mean, this year I believe I had 6 titles out. Next year I've got three
Wow.
and another three the year. I never take that for granted. I don't. But I also realize it would be easy for me to just get comfortable. I never want to
Right.
do that. I want to challenge myself. So the first big challenge was a couple of weeks ago. I was offered the opportunity to host my own radio show, with a live radio show on UK Health Radio. I was so excited about this because it's an independent radio station with close to 2 million listeners now across the
Wow.
globe. But it was founded 12 years ago for physical and mental well-being. So many of the podcasts are by doctors, psychologists, but they realize now the importance of soul. And they've given me a show which is live every Wednesday from 3 to 4 p.m. UK time, but then available on demand afterwards if you go to the UK Health Radio website, called The Healing Power of Your Dreams. And I've been calling in leading dream experts, the likes of Charlie Morley, uh, Dr. Eben Alexander, Claire Johnson, just to sort of to interview them live. And a feature
Wow.
of the show is that people can zoom in with a question for the people. It's very scary, but I think a live show sometimes has that urgency, which is an adrenaline rush. But I'm loving it, and long may it continue. I've amazing surprises in the weeks to come in store, and I do hope you'll support it because, as I said, it's acknowledging in holistic well-being the power of soul. We're not just
That's
mind and body.
amazing. Okay,
Yeah, so
you said that really quick, but I'm going to try and pull up the website. What was the website again?
UK Health Radio, and you go to the healing power of your dreams on there,
Got it.
and that's my show. And you just click listen live. It's entirely free. It is a labor of love. It's not, you know, certainly for me, it's not profit making. It's I want to do it to mainstream dream power and show people that alongside mental health and physical health, you've got to have soul health.
Amazing.
That's what the
Amazing.
show is about.
I wasn't able to pull it up, but yeah, I'm sure everybody can pull it up. That's
It's
amazing.
easy to
That's
find.
awesome.
UK Health Radio, Healing Power of Your Dreams. But I'm not new to kind of because I in 2019 I set up White Shores, my podcast for spiritual beings having a human experience, and that was really launched
That's
to give a platform to.
you're saying so many things that the group says. It just yeah, it's like we're on the same channel. Yeah, amazing.
Thank you. And that was really to showcase the scientists. I only was going to do one season of 10 episodes where I gave an episode to each of these scientists. But it was so heavily downloaded, and then
Oh,
lockdown
good.
happened. I just decided, and it's now in its 10th season, and I still release episodes. I release personal episodes there. It's a smaller, sort of quieter affair. It's pre-recorded. I can do it around my thing, but it's called White Shores. And if you're wanting to know the title, it's because of my love of Lord of the Rings. White Shores
Is
is the
that
undying,
right?
the undying land. Is White Shores. It's where elves and fairies and spirits in the afterlife. But yeah, that's White Shores. Yeah, there it is. That's my podcast. Um, but it
Good.
led it. I had to do that because I did it steadily for 6 years, and it's led to now being asked to host my own radio show. So
Nice.
sometimes you have no idea where your unexpected journey will take you. And
Tell
this
me.
year, I've also gone right out of my comfort zone and written my first novel called Nightborn.
That's
And
incredible.
the interesting thing about that is all my non-fiction publishers, the biggies, the big publishing houses, Hachette, Harper, who published me, they were terrified and they didn't, because often, I'm sure you find this, you get put in a box in life.
Yep.
And my box is, I'm the British grandmother, labeled the British grandmother of psychic spiritual studies, and I dream decode, and I'm this friendly face of spiritual growth, etc. And my novel is quite dark, deliberately so, for a reason. And they would not support me because it was too different. The novel was
It
too
is good.
different,
Yeah.
too shocking. But I walk my talk. I went out of my comfort zone and I wouldn't give up on it. I believe in it. And an independent publisher read it and kindly offered me an opportunity to publish it. And I'm
Awesome.
very,
Awesome.
very grateful. They took a leap of faith in me. Now, this novel may fly or it may fail. It doesn't matter. I believe it will find
Right.
people who are meant to read it. I believe that with all of my books, actually. I do struggle with the marketing aspect of being an author, as most authors do. I'm very much of the view that when you're ready, the right book will appear. And I feel the same with my novel Nightborn. Basically, it's for all people who aren't necessarily engaged by nonfiction. And it was inspired by my daughter, who is a bookworm and always reading Gothic fantasies and fiction. And I cannot, with all money, get her to read a book, one of my books or any nonfiction book. So I
Right.
thought, well, there's a whole audience of especially younger people who maybe won't be drawn. It's old fashioned, isn't it? They got YouTube. Why read a book?
Right. Exactly.
Go on TikTok and you get an instant. Why do that? But they might.
Exactly.
No, they might. They might be. I've been constantly told go on TikTok. I can't do that. I'd be rubbish at it. It's not. Maybe though. That's my next challenge. Watch this space. Theresa Cheung on
Yeah,
TikTok.
exactly.
But
I know that. How old's your daughter?
I can't- That's all right. My daughter is 25.
Okay. So yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
she's
She's right in that. She's right in that area. That's perfect.
and so she basically was the inspiration. So I kind of wrote it so at least she'd read one of my books. And
my
no, it was
my children did not read my books. They tried, but they just didn't understand it. It was okay. They're
well,
thinking Dad was talking in the book.
well, it's like my, I do a little bit of social media. I do dip my toe in because you have to with
Right.
I do on Instagram, and my daughter's so embarrassed of my homemade social media page. 'Cause they do it myself. And I think it's quite funny because I asked to follow her, and I'm still pending approval.
Oh,
She
really? She
has,
hasn't approved you yet.
and
That's
she's not
amazing.
that it's funny. Every time she logs on to Instagram, her
Right.
mother's approval, and I think that's quite funny. But having said that, she must love me because she did actually. I found out through her friends. She's gone on to TikTok and she's created a Nightborn 2025 page on TikTok. TikTok. Now I'm not on
Wow.
TikTok, and I think she's
Wow.
going to the angle. Please help my mother.
That's perfect.
She needs help. Buy
Yeah.
this book.
We need to ground this lady. Yes.
But I
That's
wrote it
perfect.
because you can read it on two levels. You can read it as a fast-paced thriller. It's very kind
Right.
of like Brown Secret of Secrets inspired. Excuse me, I'm just going to pick my dog up, who is
Yeah, that's all
wanting.
right.
Excuse me.
Wanted
Excuse
wanted to be wanted to be on the
me.
show.
Yes, he is. Yes, here we go. Here we go. Soul dog. There we
Ah,
go.
there we
Soul.
go. Perfect.
But anyway, so you can read it on one level where I hope it is an edge of your seat thriller, and it is. People who've read it said it's breathless, it's fast paced, it keeps them
Awesome.
guessing. You have no idea what's going on until the very end. I hope I won't spoil the ending, and it carries you along. It's not an overly heavy book. It's only about sixty
Right.
thousand words, not a massive tome, so
Wow.
don't worry about.
Yeah.
But on the other level, when you read it, you get a subliminal flash because all the characters are dream experts, dream psychologists.
Interesting.
That's the premise of the novel. It's based on a professor who is a Jungian analyst, based on people I know and have worked with. The character, very driven, very obsessed with Jung and their work, who suddenly wakes up one morning and she's appearing in everybody's dreams, and it's trying to find out why. And I think that's the premise is getting people gripped. It is based actually on a 2008 marketing hoax called thisman.org, where an image was posted online,
Yep.
where they said, have you dreamt of this image? And people were reporting in their thousands that they had. It did turn out to be a hoax, but it showed the power of suggestion with the
Right.
dreaming of mind. And I wanted to explore that in this novel much further. But you can also read it when you read it, you will get a crash course without realizing it in how to understand your dreams and work with them to heal your life from the inside out. So I
And
wanted it
and
to be.
that's the fiction book that you're writing.
Yeah. So you can
Awesome.
read it on
Good.
two levels to reach a new audience and to maybe engage. Because
Yeah.
my mission is to get everybody around the world waking up every morning with vivid dreams, incredible dreams on their mind, gratitude for them. Because when you do that, it's a sign of a very, very creative, alive brain. It's also a sign of soul connection. It's very sacred. And I'm on a
Right.
mission to do that. I work with schools and trying to get it prisons as well. There's been research in prisons that, people who, work with their dreams, it helps them in many ways. In fact, my dream dictionary is one of the most requested items in women's prisons in America. I was told,
Interesting.
yeah, it's
Wow.
interesting, isn't it? Well, when you've got to really meet your soul, haven't you, when you're doing
Yeah.
time?
When you're limited.
You
Yeah.
dreams, what dreams come then, and how they can help you deal with your shadow, have compassion for it, and evolve. That's what we're here to do. So, yeah, so I'm,
That's
I'm
it.
excited about that one because, as I said, I haven't got the big publishing house support for this one because it's too different for them. Um, you
Right.
know, so it won't be stocked in all
Yet.
the major stores as a
Yet.
result. Yet,
Once you
and
once you make your name over there, they'll come after you. I'm sure.
I hope so. I dream big. I'm actually quite close by here in the UK to the Netflix studio. In fact, I see it across the road. So I think I'm
Ah,
here.
perfect. Perfect.
My board
Hold
is
the book.
here.
Hold the book up and tell us about the book again, the title of the book, and where we can get it,
Oh,
and so
thank
forth.
you.
People people love that.
I think now the cover is kind of taking on it. People have a visceral reaction to the cover. That was deliberate. Some people
Oh,
love it,
good.
some people hate it, but the important thing is it triggers them. And what people are saying is actually the cover and reading some of the book is triggering dream recall. And that's
Perfect.
obviously it would, because the book's all about dreams and the power of them. And where your attention goes during the day is what shows up in your dreams at night. Because where your attention goes is where your energy flows and what you tend to attract. So I
Right.
think reading the book and hopefully listening to this interview where we've talked about dreams will trigger clear dream recall for your listeners.
It triggers it for me. My wife used to dream every night, wake up every morning, and tell me about her dreams. That was
Good.
her morning ritual. I never dreamed. Well, I dreamed, but I apparently didn't remember them. So I would never remember. She says, just tell yourself to remember your dreams before you go to sleep. I did.
Integrate a
And
dream.
I remembered them. It was amazing. It was just, it's kind of like I didn't
So
know I
how
could
you're
program
waking up.
myself that way. Yeah.
How you're waking up may be the reason you're not recalling it, because a lot of people are waking up with alarm clocks. I'm encouraging
Yeah.
people to train themselves to wake naturally because dreams more likely to come without the shock of an alarm clock. Because you need to
That's
just
true.
spend a couple of minutes in that liminal state when you're
It,
still asleep in that
that's
state of consciousness,
correct.
and
Well,
you need,
that's the really
yeah,
isn't that the highest use to the body in the REM sleep just when we're coming
yeah,
out? Isn't that
yes,
so? Yeah,
yes. So
that's critical times.
stay still when you wake up. Don't immediately jump out of bed. Stay still in the position that you woke up in if you can. Don't even open your eyes, because even every time you blink, your brain redirects.
Right.
And the subtle world of the unconscious can't compete with the noise of the conscious mind and all the demands on it. It will shut it down.
Right.
And logic and reason will also, logic and reason reign supreme in our waking lives. They like to weigh in. That's their world. They are king and
Right.
queen there. But in the world of the dream, intuition and creativity are king and queen. It's their time. And it's so
Interesting.
sad that we've given so much dominance to one aspect of ourselves, which is
Right.
important. We need to balance both. I do get stressed sometimes because some people in this movement, they go far too away with the fairies, and it's, there's no practicality, there's no logic and reason. We need fulfillment is when you balance both sides of you, and
Right.
neither is dominant. And Unfortunately, poor dream recall is a casualty of the modern world because we've got so obsessed with the material and logic and reason and the literal being everything that dream recall suffers as a result. But we can turn that around. It's very easy. Thing is, your dreams are longing for you to do that. They are knocking
Yeah.
on the
No,
door.
you're right. You're right. And when I did, I also realized that I had developed the habit of getting up in the morning so I could hear her dreams rather than focusing on mine. It was interesting. It was really
In
interesting.
That's your empathy again, but that's beautiful because in the dream state, empathy and creativity, or empathy and
Yeah.
compassion are the key
Yeah.
in the dream. And a lot of
The
people,
only
get upset because their dreams are toxic or dark, but there's a reason
eh,
for that. There's a
we
lot
have
we
to
don't face.
balance. Yeah, we
Yeah,
got to
in our
balance
way.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the group mentioned that one time to me personally. Apparently, I was waking up swinging and really angry and having a violent, somebody's trying to hurt me type of thing. And my partner didn't like that. So, well, of course, I have no recall of it. And I wake up the next day and I ask the group about it. And the group says sometimes you just have to balance. Sometimes you're so much in the light, so much in the love, in the energy. Sometimes we just have to balance you a little bit. I thought that was
They can't
interesting.
exist without night, and it's in the night that growth happens. It's
Yes.
in the part of ourselves that's unexplored, that's forbidden, that's angry, that's envious, that's sad. Often that all these feelings and emotions are here to teach us something. We are here on this earth to learn. And what we need to do is stop fearing this and enter into a dialogue with the shadow figures and say, what do you want? Because
Right.
most of the time they just want to be recognized. And once you do
That's it.
that, they go. They just don't want you to. That's why chasing dreams, being chased, is one of the most common because people run away from them all the time. And the more you do
Oh, is
that, the
it?
more
I
they
didn't know that.
grow.
I
Yeah, it's in the
didn't
top
know
three,
that.
but
That's
along with
interesting.
falling and flying. But being chased, something chasing you is one of the most common dreams reported across the globe. It's running from your
Wow.
fears and the part of you that you are not acknowledging. We all have toxic negative parts in us. It's just part of the human condition. I'm not sure why
Yeah.
it just, but there is
We.
night and day. And it's what you
Yeah.
choose to indulge. But what these dark parts need, they don't need to be condemned. They don't want to be judged. They want to be heard.
Right.
And they want to be, and so often they formed at a time in your life when you needed them. They were protection. So they actually
Well, true.
started with good intentions. So what you
And
should
there's
maybe do,
also
thank you, but
there's a
I'm okay now. You can go.
yeah. There's also a lot of beauty in the darkness. I mean, we hear from all the poetry, Edgar Allan Poe, pretty dark stuff, and beautiful. There's beauty in there if we lose the fear. That's
And
the whole.
stars come out in the darkness, don't they? The
Yeah.
brightest stars shine in the darkness, don't they? We need the
There you go.
darkness, brightest
Yeah,
stars.
to see the light. Yeah. Perfect. Teresa, this has been a joy. I've really enjoyed this. We're starting to run out of time, but I want to get one final nugget from you. Anything that you want to share with our audience, anything that you'd like to share with people in general, uh, just anything at all. One final piece from you.
Yeah, it's if you are going through a very hard time and you're thinking why, and life seems difficult, try, I know it's hard, I'm not saying it's easy, but try to choose to switch that feeling to excitement. Often when you're going through hard times, it's a sign you're ready to grow. It's like the labor pains before birth. And this too shall pass. Every morning when you wake up, you are born anew. You will have the wisdom of yesterday. It will be different. This will pass. It will. And there will come a time when you will look back on what you're going through right now and you will understand why it happened. Trust me on that. As I get older, I look back on my life and things I've cried and I've sobbed and I've raged against. And now it's like a jigsaw. The older you get, the more you can look back and see the bigger picture and understand that when one door closes or something goes wrong or there's loss or grief, it often is because a window's opening somewhere else. And it's all part of your soul's journey, your soul's endless, mysterious journey. And again, if you are feeling sad or lonely, sleep on it. Write down your dreams. They are a reminder that you are more than your physical body. You are more than your mind. You are a dreaming being having a human experience. Take comfort in that. It will help you transform every kind of pain into purpose.
Thank you so much. That's magical. And we can find you at theresachung.com and several other places. So we'll put some links down here underneath the video to be able to thank you so much. And we'd love to have you back sometime. I'd absolutely follow up and especially now that this book's out, I can't wait to see what ends up with this one. So I'm sure your daughter's very proud of you.
I hope so.
Yes, absolutely. Good job. Thanks, Theresa. Thanks for being on with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank
With that,
you.
everybody, I'm going to leave you for the time being. Thank you so much for being with us and spending your time with us here today. We hope Theresa and I have been able to enlighten your day just a little bit, trying to make everything just a little bit higher on the enjoyment level. To know that you're a spirit pretending to be human, and you're doing a pretty good job. We can go all through the challenges of moving into the fifth dimension. We see that over and over. Most of the questions that we receive are about challenges and things going on Earth. All of it can be resolved if we just hold hands. Keep that in mind. Aspav, everybody. Thanks for being with us. We'll be back in a couple weeks with another Backstory podcast. Aspavo.